Have you ever considered moving to the Caribbean but felt completely overwhelmed in the process? If you have, let me know in the comments. Whether it's the difficulty in finding the information in the first place or the endless forms that you're supposed to get your hands on, to the timeline that it takes for people to respond, if you have considered making the move and have started the process, you will soon find that island time is a real thing. In this video, I'm going to talk you through the realities of navigating bureaucracy in the Caribbean, and it definitely does vary from island to island, but this is my generalized experience with some generalized tools and tips that you might find useful when it comes to making your way through either getting residency in the Caribbean, securing citizenship by descent, trying to set up a business here. Any touch point that you want is going to have an element of bureaucracy, and forewarned is forearmed. So this video is for you. Stay tuned to the end because it has lots of tips and tricks that I know that you will find useful. So the first thing that I find is that generally information is incredibly hard to find. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that really draws people to the Caribbean is a laid-back style of life. It's not rushed, it's not hassled, and there's generally a sense of well-being that you often don't find in many other developed countries. So that's a real lure for people wanting to come here. But one of the things that I notice with my clients and people in general who make that move to the Caribbean is that there is often a challenge in navigating the fact that what drew you here in the beginning, the peace, the tranquility, the slower pace, when it comes to you wanting to get things done your way, can be incredibly challenging, whether it's the fact that going to the bank can take an incredibly long time. Even opening a bank account is not what you're going to be used to in many of the destinations that you're coming from. There are so many things that you would imagine are simple, but when you actually interact with those processes, you realize that actually just because you're used to things being done that way in the UK or the US or Canada or elsewhere, doesn't mean that that's how it's going to work in the Caribbean. And so the sooner you can get your head around that being the reality, the easier it's going to be for you when you come across those instances where you realize that actually you need to do things a completely different way and have a completely different set of expectations. And I've been totally overwhelmed by the response to the video that I did about obtaining citizenship in the Caribbean. The clear issue is that so much of this information is not obvious to find. Many of the websites that you go to are going to be incredibly hard to navigate. The PDFs that are uploaded can't be edited virtually or digitally. You need to print them off, and then you're like, how does this work given that I'm overseas? And that's if you can even find the form yourself. And I am yet to make sense of it fully after 5 years of living in the Caribbean and about 10 years of doing business here, why the information isn't available virtually, why I need a piece of paper and sometimes even a stamp in order to get someone to process the information. But that's just the reality of how things work here. I know that a lot of governments are putting energy and time into digitization, and I like to believe that the sooner that can happen, the better that it's going to be in terms of efficiency. So recognizing that accessing information is going to be a process that differs to what you're used to is a really useful first step. So it's not that it doesn't exist, it is out there, but it might just not be available on the website or in the document that you were thinking it was going to be. The second thing that I come across is that it can be incredibly unusual in terms of how long it takes to get a response from people. If you do find the information and you're able to make contact and you're able to find the person that you need to talk to, sending them an email isn't necessarily going to get you the response that you need. Here in Grenada specifically, I can think of very few government spaces where everything can be handled virtually. Perhaps the Ministry of Finance, I think, allows you to pay taxes online, but in most instances, you are going to need to go and see someone in person, and that really is a thing. And I know it's hard to get your head around, and I actually had a conversation with a client last week who was here in Grenada. He'd been trying to set up meetings and appointments and spent a lot of time sending emails trying to get things lined up. And no one gets back to him, or people don't turn up, and it can be incredibly frustrating. So one of the things I had to say to him is that, listen, how you're used to doing things in the UK isn't necessarily what's going to work here. So if you want someone to agree to an appointment with you, you need to go see them in person. Now, For those of you watching who are in the Caribbean who have it all navigated out and know what to do, I understand that you have your ways of doing things that aren't necessarily going to be the same for a newbie. But if you don't have that network, if you don't have your people, then making sure that you register on people's radar, you will often find that an email doesn't cut it. So what you need to do is to go to that government entity, to go to that business, to go to wherever and go there in person. Speak to the receptionist, ask if it's possible to see the person that you're wanting to talk to. Most times it won't be, and they will tell you to send an email or to call. But the fact that you've been there means that it registers as in this is something that's important. This is not someone who's here to waste time. This is someone who's actually taken their time and energy to come and see if a conversation could be initiated. Therefore, this is something that is relevant and this is something that needs to be flagged. So whether they make a note and put it down on a post-it note, or whether they send an email or happen to mention it to the person in particular when they next see them, that already gets the ball rolling so that when you reach to the next phase, then they're already warmed up. They're already expecting or aware that you're going to be reaching out. And another thing that I realized is that in every organization, whether it's private or government owned or anything else, there is guaranteed to be one person who's going to be your go-to person who actually is super enthusiastic and super efficient about getting things done. That won't necessarily be the case for everyone that you interact with. And I think for many people who try to get things done in the Caribbean, especially here in Grenada, there can be this decision to just write off an entire organization or to write off an entire business. And I think that is flawed. Yes, the customer service might not be what you are used to, but if you take the time to find out, okay, who can help me to get done what I need to get done, there will be a way. Because the fact is that business is still operating, it's still making money, it's a government institution that is still operating in some way or another. So there are clearly some people who are doing what is needed to be done. The challenge for you is to identify who that person is. So ask around, speak to people that you know, speak to someone like me, who, especially specifically for Grenada, because I think that's the one thing about spending time here is that having interactions with different places, you do begin to form a black book of, okay, cool, something needs to get done. This is a person to go to. I know that I need a time frame within a week. This is the approach that I need to take. I know that I actually need an answer to this year. I'm not going to go to this person. I'm going to go to that person. All of these things are skills that you develop over the years of being on an island where things are a lot smaller, where personal networks are exceptionally important. And I know that for many of you listening to this, you're like, but why? You know, I'm an adult, I've done this, I've done that in my life. I don't need the help to get things done. And I probably would have thought the same way too. If someone offered me a service to facilitate opening a bank account or setting up a charity or registering my business with Inland Revenue, I'll be like, are you crazy? Why am I going to pay you money for that? I can do it myself. But in the reality of being here and understanding what it can take in order to do those things which you think are simple versus the reality of seeing what it's actually like to try and get it done. Sometimes having a helping hand, having a supportive community can make a massive amount of difference, not just on your stress levels, not just on the time frame, but actually whether you're able to get it done or not. Because I know many people who have tried, so whether it's opening a bank account, finding a good builder, the cases are endless. The reality is that often you need a guide, you need people who can help you walk through that in a way that will keep you sane and get you to your end goal. So that's something that is super, super important. And just looking at my notes, another thing that I really think that you need to be aware of and be open to embracing is that the speed at which things are done here is different. It's just different. And if you can't handle that, then maybe you should look at somewhere else because the reality is that it's not changing anytime soon. There are, of course, particular institutions, particular entities where they've got it, where they really invest in their people, where they really make sure that customer service is a thing, but that's not going to be everywhere. And outside of places like Sandals, I would make a strong bet that long wait times, not really dynamic responsiveness is something that you're going to be encountering. And the easier you can find it to like just take a chill pill, realize that life probably isn't going to end as a result of you having to wait a little longer for something that you feel is really urgent. It's just going to make things so much easier for you in terms of adapting to the realities of life as it is in many Caribbean nations. And it's also going to be good for you. You're going to learn how to slow down, how to change your priorities, to realize that not everything is an emergency, and just breathe, chill, relax, and make benefit of what it is that's actually prompting you to move, right? Because if everyone was like, go, 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 fast paced 24/7 in the Caribbean, would you really want to come here? Like, yes, the weather is nice, but the vibe of the place, I would argue, is probably what's appealing to you. That's what billionaires come here on their yachts to be able to savor, is that differenceness, that slowness, that more intentional and meaningful place. So if you know that you benefit from that, then you have to understand that other people living here also choose to embrace an element of ease and flow into their lives. And that might mean a 45-minute wait in their bank in order to just pay in a deposit. And that might mean someone takes longer than expected to turn up for your appointment. Like these are just things, and it is what it is. In the same way that if you went to China, you probably need to speak Mandarin, or if you went to Saudi Arabia, you might need to dress differently. Understand that there are cultural differences here in the Caribbean, and it's not really for you to judge what is appropriate, what isn't. It's to you to adjust and accommodate and shift so that you know how to navigate it in ways that make sense to you, but that are also respectful of the culture that you have chosen to participate in. And so one of the things that I'm thinking about is that given that so many of us are have made the move and are figuring out how to make things work, or are thinking about making the move and want to be able to identify, okay, what are the stepping stones? Having a supportive community really does make a difference. The one thing that has made my move to Grenada viable, one, is taking a 10-year process. I didn't just up and move. I came and did a 6-month trial run in 2015. In between 2015 and 2021, when I made the move, I was coming 2 or 3 times a year. I started networking. I started sharing content. I started building all of the building blocks that I knew that I was going to need in order to thrive in Grenada. And it still probably wasn't enough, if I'm honest, but that was me being super intentional. And I think the one thing that I've found is that having go-to people, having a community who are also on similar journeys, who are encountering similar challenges, who maybe have networks of folks that they can refer you to, really does make a difference. Because I think one of the things that I personally experienced when I was looking to move is that everyone thought I was crazy. They're like, why would you leave the UK to move to Grenada where there's absolutely nothing going on? Why would you choose to move to a country that doesn't have this and that Grenada does? And I really had to get very solid in myself to be like, no, this is what I'm working towards. These are the blinkers that I'm going to put on. And this is how I'm going to stay absolutely focused on the direction in which I'm heading, despite not necessarily having anyone whose path I can follow as to how they did that as a single woman with 3 kids. There was no one for me to follow. And I don't necessarily think that anyone should follow my move either, because everyone's process is going to be entirely different. And I think that's where the beauty of a community comes in, to be able to connect, share resources, share experiences, hold each other accountable, and really be a form and space of support in these times where so many people are looking for options. So that's something that might be of interest to you. Drop me a line in the comments, or even better, fill in the form. There's a link in the description, because, yeah, I think, as many people have said, the Caribbean is not a country. It is a connection of multiple islands, different languages, etc., etc. But there are similarities, and I think even inter-island collaboration is essentially important. So if we can facilitate that, if we can share amongst each other as to how to make those changes happen, how to be connected in ways that are of benefit to the islands where we're looking to invest and do business and to reside, I think it's better for us as a collective who are on that journey, and for the communities that we're looking to engage with, to be able to navigate those paths to make it as smooth as possible. To conclude, the Caribbean does come with its challenges, and it's something that I've outlined in videos before, recognizing that it's going to be hard to get information. It's not only happening to you, that's just the reality of things. recognizing that people aren't going to communicate in the ways that you're used to and that you need to amend and adapt according to the environment that you're looking to engage with, really will bring a lot of ease and help you to manage expectations. And similarly, lastly, recognizing that the time frame in which things are going to be done is definitely not going to be what you're used to in most instances. So factoring that in, understanding that you need quite a long lead time in order to get things done, that you might need multiple checkpoints in order to make sure that it's still moving along. Really, really are strategies that I think will help you when it comes to navigating bureaucracy in the Caribbean. And most importantly, that being part of a community of support really can make a difference, where networks and who you know really can open doors for you and smooth pathways. I think that's something definitely to consider. And if that's something that you would be interested in, make sure to fill in the link in the description so that I can get in touch with you and we can meet up and talk, perhaps even do a Zoom where we share what that sort of future looks like, what that sort of support looks like, and come together at a time where change really is needed. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for all of you who take the time to share your comments. And I look forward to checking in with you again next week. Take care.